Hello learners, I'm Cynthia Mwam, your Integrated Science Facilitator. Today, our lesson is Physical Properties of Metals. Physical Properties of Metals. Let's continue our lesson. Now, before we start our lesson, let's look at our objectives for today. By the end of the lesson, you will be able to 1. Explain 4 physical properties of metals. Explain 4 physical properties of metals. 2. State 4 uses of metals. By the end of the lesson, you will be able to explain 4 physical properties of metals. 2. State 4 uses of metals. So let's continue our lesson. Now we start with examples of metals. Examples of metals. And we have on our screen gold. Gold. Let's look at another metal. We have steel. Steel. And we have silver. Silver. Iron. Iron. Aluminium. Aluminium. We have copper. Copper. So we have examples of metals as gold, steel, silver, iron, aluminium, and copper. So these are examples of metals. Examples of metals. So let's go to the physical properties of metals. Physical properties of metals. The first physical property is luster. Luster. And this is the shining property of metals. So shining properties of metal is called luster. So let's look at the gold. Let's look at it. It is very shiny. Let's look at the other picture too. They are shining, isn't it? So when metals shine, they show the property of luster. They show the property of luster. Another physical property of metals is malleability. Malleability. Malleability allows metal to be shaped into sheets. Malleability allows metals to be shaped into sheets. Let's look at it. We have hammer. We can hammer metals to be shaped into sheets, and we can use it for so many things. So this is the property of malleability. Malleability allows metals to be shaped into sheets. Let's look at another property of metal. We have ductility. Ductility. The ability of metals to be shaped into wires. The ability of metals to be shaped into wires. Let's look at copper metal. Copper metal. It has been shaped into wires. And we have copper wire. And we use copper wire to conduct electricity. So this is the ductility, the property of ductility. The ability of metals to be shaped into wires. And we have copper shaped into copper wire. Let's look at another property of metals. Now, strong and hard. Let's all say it. Strong and hard. Now, the property of metals that makes it difficult to break is strong and hard. Now, metals are very strong. Let's look at this metal. It is very strong, and we can't break it. Because it is strong and hard, we cannot break it with our hand. Now let's look at the other picture. Now what is it, learners? Now this is wood. Wood. And we can break it easily because it is not strong and it is not hard. So metals, we can't break it like that. We can't use our hand to break it. And it is very strong and hard. So this metal is strong and hard. Let's look at another property of metal. Now we have good conductor of heat. Good conductor of heat. The property of metals that allows heat to pass through easily. The property of metals that allows heat to pass through easy is good conductor of heat. So let's look at this drawing, this picture on our screen. Now what do we see? We have Bunsen burner. Now this is Bunsen burner, and it is heating the wire. So let's look at it. Let's look at it. Let's look at it. What is happening? What is happening, learners? Now it is heating. At first it was cold. And because it is good conductor of heat, heat has passed through it. The particles at the end expands and it's heating. So let's look at it. This is good conductor of heat. So metals shows good conductor of heat, and it's one of the physical properties of metals. Let's look at another property of metal. We have good conductor of electricity. Now metals are very good conductors of electricity. The property of metals that allows electric current to pass through easily. The property of metals that allows electric current to pass through easy is good conductor of electricity. Let's look at our drawing. Now when it's light, you see that the light is yellow. When the light goes off, you will see that it is blue. So let's look at it. We have cell, this is a battery, and we have wire, and we have metal, and the lights. So we connect the metal to the bulb and the battery. Now let's look at what is happening here. With the metal, we see that the light is on, and this one is wood. We have copper metal, and the light is on. Let's look at the wood. The light is off. Copper, we have the light is on. Glass, the light is off. So this shows that metals are good conductors of electricity. Now learners, we shouldn't use pins because a pin is a metal. Nails are metals. Knife are metals. So we shouldn't put them in sockets. It will give us shock. So we shouldn't play with them, with electricity. So they are good conductors of heat because they are naked. When you try to put it in a socket or any electrical gadget, it will give you shock. So we should avoid using metals on electricity. So metals are good conductors of electricity. The property of metals that allows electric current to pass through easily is good conductor of electricity. You have done very well. Now let's look at something special about metals. Now we have on our screen mercury. Mercury. The mercury is special because it is the only metal that is liquid at standard temperature. So the mercury is liquid. It is a metal. Most metals are solid, but mercury is liquid metal. So let's look at it. This is mercury. Mercury is special because it is the only metal that is liquid at standard temperature. So we have examples on our screen. Now this is a liquid metal. This is a liquid metal. You have done very, very well. Let's continue our lesson. Now we have looked at physical properties of metals. Let's look at uses of metals. Now what do we use all these metals we have seen, we have learned for? Uses of metals. Now we have on our screen some tools. We have hoe, rake, wheelbarrow, we have cutlass, we have trowel or shovel. Now this one is hand trowel for farm tools. So we use metals for making farm tools. We use metals for making farm tools. The first one is hoe. Now we use the hoe to weed on our farm. When the weeds are very small and we don't want the weed to grow fast, we use the hoe to weed. After weeding, we use the rake to gather the weeds together. Now in our farms, we don't use rake because we want the weeds to, when the weeds rots, when it rots, it adds nutrients to the soil. So we don't rake our farm, but in our garden, at the back of our houses, we use the rake to gather the weeds. Now what do we use the wheelbarrow for? We use it to carry things in the farm. We use it to carry our goods, our farm produce. And masons also use the wheelbarrow to carry their concrete. We use the cutlass to weed. We use it to weed. We use it to cut so many things on our farm. And the hand trowel, we use it to turn the soil upside down. When we add fertilizer or manure to the soil, we use the trowel to turn the soil upside down. So metals are used for making farm tools. Let's look at another uses of metals. For making jewelries. Now this is, we have gold here. Now because of its luster, we can use it to make jewelries. Look at how they are shining. Because of the shining property, we use it to make jewelries. So these are jewelries. So metals are used for making jewelries. Because of its luster property. Let's look at another uses of metal. For making roofing sheets, because we can shape metals into sheets. We use it for making roofing sheets. And these roofing sheets are used for building our houses. Most of our houses are used by these roofing sheets. We use them so that rain will not fall on us. Sun will not shine on us. So we use metals for making roofing sheets. Let's look at another uses of metals. For making electrical wires. For making electrical wires. Now we use this to make electrical wires because of its ductility. Because of its ductility, we can shape them into wires. Now this is copper wire, a naked copper wire. Now this one, before we use it to make electrical wires, we have to insulate it with plastic. We have to insulate it with plastic so that it will not give us shock. So metals are used for making electrical wires. Metals are used for making electrical wires. Let's look at another property of metal. Another uses of metal. Another uses of metals. For making household utensils. For making household utensils. Now this one, because it can conduct heat, because metals can conduct heat, we use it to make utensils. And this we can use it to cook our food because it can conduct heat. When we put it on fire, the particles will expand and our food will cook for us because of its property. So metals are used for making household utensils because it can conduct heat. So metals are used for making household utensils. Let's look at another one. For making cutleries, we have spoon, teaspoon, soup spoon, and ordinary spoon. We have fork and knife. So metals, because we can shape it into any shape that we want, they are used for making cutleries, and we use it in our various houses. At school, we use it. In our homes, when we travel everywhere, we can use cutleries. So metals are used for making cutleries. Metals are used for making cutleries. Let's look at another one. Let's look at it, children. What is it? Learners, what is on our screen? Now this is a car. Now this is a car. Now metals are used for building the body of cars. Metals are used for building the body of cars. Now let's look at this car. We have metals all around. We have metals. So because we can shape it into sheets, it can be used to build the body of cars. So this is one of the uses of metals for building the body of cars. Let's look at another one. Now, as we saw, mercury is used in thermometers. Mercury is the only metal which is liquid. Now we have on our screen thermometer. This is a thermometer, liquid in glass thermometer. When we are sick and we go to the hospital, thermometer is used to check our temperature. Now because of the mercury in it, when your temperature is high, the mercury will expand to show how your temperature reads. That is why we use it in temperatures. We use it in thermometers. We use the mercury in thermometers. So this is liquid in glass thermometer. And we use mercury. Mercury is a metal and it is liquid. So mercury is used in thermometers. Now we have come to the end of the lesson. Let's look at our summary for today. The summary of today's lesson. What we have learned today. Today we have looked at the physical properties of metals. physical properties of metals. And the first physical properties of metal is malleability. Malleability, that is shaping or beating metals to shapes. Now let's look on our screen. We have gold, and it has been shaped into money, coin. Let's look at it. Another property that we looked at is ductility. Ductility. Shapes into wire. Shapes into wire. Let's look at the copper metal, and it has been shaped into copper wire. So we have malleability, we have ductility, and metals are strong and hard. Strong and hard. Let's look at this metal. It is very strong and hard. So one of the properties of metal is strong and hard. We have lustre. Lustre, that is shining. So when metals shine, it shows the property of lustre. Good conductor of heat. We saw that metals are good conductor of heat. When you put any metal in fire, it will heat. The particles will expand and it will heat. So good conductor of heat. And we have good conductor of electricity. Because they are good conductor of heat, they can conduct electricity. And we say one of the properties of metal is what? Good conductor of electricity. And we have copper as a very good conductor of electricity, a metal which is very good conductor of electricity. So we have these properties, physical properties of metals. And we looked at the uses of metals. Uses of metal. And the first one is using metals to make utensils. Utensils, because they are good conductors of heat. We can use it as utensils. Roofing sheets. Roofing sheets, because we can beat them into sheets. It is used for making roofing sheets. Farm tools. Farm tools. We can use it as farm tools, as we have hole on our screen. And because it is very shiny, it shows the property of lustre. You can use it for jewelries. We have cutleries. We can also shape it and use it to make cutleries. And we can also use metals to build the body of cars, as we can see on our screen. So the uses of metals: one, we can use it to make utensils. We have roofing sheets, farm tools, jewelries, cutleries, and we can use metals to build the body of cars. We have done very, very well, learners. Before we go, let's look at our homework for today. Our homework for today. 1. State 4 physical properties of metals. State 4 physical properties of metals. 2. Explain 4 physical properties of metals. Explain 4 physical properties of metals. 3. Write down 4 uses of metals. Write down 4 uses of metals. You have done very, very well. Do this exercise, and the next time we shall meet. Until then, bye-bye.